Hello and welcome to Daily Reflection with Aneel Aranha. If this is the first time you're joining us, may I suggest you subscribe to our channel, click the button below for some really great content, and do share it with your friends. Today is the 9th of November 2019, and we're going to reflect on John chapter 2, verses 13 to 22. Listen. The Passover of the Jews was near, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. In the temple, he found people selling cattle, sheep, and doves, and the money changers seated at their tables. Making a whip of cords, he drove all of them out of the temple, both the sheep and the cattle. He also poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned their tables. He told those who were selling the doves, "Take these things out of here. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace." His disciples remembered that it was written, "Zeal for your house will consume me." The Jews then said to him, "What sign can you show us for doing this?" And Jesus answered them, "Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it up." The Jews then said, "This temple has been under construction for 46 years, and will you raise it up in 3 days?" But he was speaking of the temple of his body. After he was raised from the dead, his disciples remembered that he had said this, and they believed the scripture and the words that Jesus had spoken. The gospel of the Lord. The only mention of Jesus in the Bible between the infancy narrative and his appearance in the desert about 30 years ago was a tiny little incident that took place when he was 12. His parents had come to Jerusalem for the feast of the Passover, and on their way back, they realized Jesus had been left behind. They returned to Jerusalem to find him in the temple courts, sitting among the teachers, listening to them and asking them questions. I am sure that he observed many things that were wrong over the years. First as a boy, then as a young man, people selling animals, money changers doing business. Now, 30 years old, he was returning as Messiah to set things right. Making a whip of cords, he drove all the animals out of the temple. He also poured out the coins of the money changers and overturned the tables, and he said to them, "Take these things out of here. Stop making my Father's house a marketplace." Jesus was angry, and I am sure he was a sight to see. Why was he so angry? It wasn't because these things were being done. Pilgrims needed to purchase sacrificial animals, and a lot of them needed to exchange money in order to be able to do so. He was angry because it was being done in the wrong place. God's house, his Father's house, had been turned from a place of worship into a marketplace, and this he could not abide. We need to get angry too, but only about the things that make God angry. And these cover a whole gamut of things, from poverty and injustice to the prevention of kingdom growth and desecration of our churches. We need to start getting vocal about these things too, because for too long has a church kept quiet about evil that takes place around it. I think God is getting a little tired of the rubbish that's happening today, especially in his name, and I believe he is going to change a lot of things. How? Through us. Again, how? Start speaking up. When we hear people preaching false doctrines and corrupting the truth, when we see people knocking ministries down, encouraging hatred and division rather than promoting love and unity, when we find leaders engaging in bullying tactics, even intimidating priests and bishops to do their will, when we find shepherds apathetic to the needs of their flock, many of whom are in desperate straits, we need to speak up. We need to do it with love, a lot of it, but speak up we must. Jesus is set to clean his Father's house again. God bless you.